It started with the Polaroid. Not the picture itself, but where it was. I found it wedged inside a cookbook neither of us ever used, Mediterranean Light, a glossy hardback we bought during a brief, ill-fated health phase that lasted maybe 2 weeks before takeout reclaimed its throne. It sat untouched on the lowest kitchen shelf, the kind of book too heavy to throw out but too useless to touch. That morning, I was on a cleaning spree, some mild, forgettable chore that gave me a reason not to answer emails, and I opened it without thinking. Page 62, grilled octopus with lemon oil. No creases, no stains. Just one Polaroid photo resting precisely at the centerfold. And for a moment, I thought it might be from a trip, maybe a beach, maybe Spain, but the moment my eyes focused, I knew it wasn't. It was a table. A plain, narrow table. Not ours. A scratched wooden surface with a chipped edge on the left. A half-empty glass of rose beside a plate with a cigarette put out in the remains of tiramisu. A woman's hand in frame, blurred, reaching toward a phone. The light was dim, golden, probably early evening, but the angle told me everything. This wasn't a memory. This wasn't posed. This was taken by someone watching. I stared at it longer than I should have, brain clawing at logic, finding none. We didn't smoke. She didn't smoke. And we definitely didn't drink rose. She hated it. Gives me headaches, she'd say every time it was offered. I'd heard it so often I could have repeated it in my sleep. But there it was, half gone, sweating condensation onto it that wasn't mine. No other faces. No context. Just that reach of fingers, delicate, casual, familiar. I didn't say a word. I didn't call her. I didn't even flip the page. I slid the photo back exactly where it had been, closed the book, and put it back on the shelf, aligned perfectly with the spines on either side. I stood in the kitchen for a while, watching the sunlight bleed in through the blinds, cutting long stripes across the counter like prison bars. Somewhere upstairs, she was singing not lyrics, just a hum, off-tune but bright. The sound of a woman who had no idea what I'd just seen. Later, she asked what I wanted for dinner. I told her pasta. She made risotto. Chicken, not seafood. Said the market was out. She poured us each a glass of cab and kissed me like she always did, on the cheek, soft, automatic, absent. I didn't mention the cookbook. The next morning, I walked past the shelf again, and without hesitation, slid the book out. The photo was gone. Not moved. Not misplaced. Gone. That was when I felt it. That cold, airless shift in the chest when reality shifts a quarter-inch off-center. She knew. She knew I'd seen it. Or worse, she hadn't even meant for me to. A forgotten relic, cleaned up too late. It didn't matter. She had touched it, handled it, removed it, and said nothing. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was angry. Not even afraid. Just quiet. Like the air had thickened around me, and every breath had to be rationed. She lay beside me, arm draped across my chest, her breathing slow and steady. And I stared at the ceiling, counting every breath she took, trying to imagine what else was hiding in this house, what other secrets might be stuffed inside cookbooks, photo albums, shoeboxes, trash bags. I didn't check. I didn't need to, because I already knew. There's a particular kind of silence that settles over you when betrayal isn't proven, but felt, when it doesn't arrive in shouts or phone calls or lipstick on collars. It arrives with a photo no one should have taken, in a book no one should have touched, placed where it didn't belong, and vanished when it shouldn't have moved. It's the kind of silence that doesn't scream. It whispers. Constantly. A static hum in the back of your brain, a pressure that builds with each smile she gives, each lie she weaves into the mundane. And once that silence starts, it never leaves. It was strange how nothing changed all at once. The morning still began the same. Her alarm, her groggy stretch, her coffee with oat milk, 3 pumps of vanilla, 2 cubes of ice, stirred 5 times. She always stirred it 5 times. She still wore the necklace I gave her 3 anniversaries ago, the one with the tiny emerald that caught the light just right when she stood by the window. But somewhere between the 2nd and 3rd week after the photo vanished, she stopped humming when she got ready. I didn't notice at first. It was the kind of detail you miss because you trust it'll be there tomorrow. But it didn't come back. Just the clink of her brush on porcelain, the zip of her jacket, the click of her phone case shutting as she turned away. That phone became its own presence, always near, never open. It used to sit on the counter, screen up, messages flickering like fireflies we both ignored. Now it lived face down, tightly gripped, even on the bathroom sink while she showered. One night, I reached to move it when clearing the table, and she was across the room in a second, smiling, casual, but her hand landed on mine with just enough pressure. "I've been so forgetful lately," she said. "I should really start locking it. Just in case." Her laugh was light, but her eyes were on me too long, waiting for some reaction I didn't give. She started saying things like, "I need space to process myself," and "I've been learning how to grow independently." Not angry, not cold, just floaty, vague, rehearsed, lines she didn't write. She talked about therapy sessions I wasn't invited to, boundaries I never crossed, self-care routines that seemed to require hours away from home and full makeup in the middle of a Sunday. When I asked how her day went, she answered in abstracts, grounding, enlightening, kind of chaotic, but in a good way. I stopped asking. She still touched me, kissed me, called me babe. But it all had the hollow ring of a voicemail, words recorded, played back later, timed just right to sound real. Her body moved through our house like she was practicing for another role, like she was trying on the version of herself that would exist after I was gone, just to see how it felt. I began to follow her, not literally, not on foot, but with my senses. I learned to read the way she set down her keys, sharp, careless, or careful, guilty. I listened to the tone in her goodnight, tracked how long it took her to fall asleep. When I kissed her shoulder in the dark, I'd feel her flinch subtle, but there. One night, I heard her talking on the back porch. Her voice was soft, low, private, just above a whisper. I moved to the kitchen and leaned into the hum of the fridge to cover my breath. I couldn't make out the words, but I caught the rhythm. Laughter. Silence. Laughter again. Then, "Don't worry, I'm being careful." My heart thudded once, hard. The conversation ended with a sigh, and the screen door eased shut like she was trying not to wake a child. I waited. She walked in, barefoot, phone still warm in her hand. "That was Erica," she said before I could ask. "She's spiraling again. I might go over later this week." I nodded, smiled, told her I hoped Erica was okay. I watched her slip her phone into her robe pocket and sip water like she hadn't just lied to my face. The next day, I went into our closet to grab a hoodie and found the shirt. My shirt. Folded, clean, but the wrong detergent. We used unscented. This smelled faintly of jasmine and smoke. Her perfume, mixed with something else. Not me. The sleeves were rolled like she'd worn it. Or someone had. I didn't touch it. Just stared. Closed the closet. Walked away. Then came the almost answer. It was a Tuesday. She said she'd be working late, had some kind of team dinner. She dressed cleaner than usual for work. Dark jeans, fitted blazer, those heeled boots she used to say were too uncomfortable for long nights. I didn't say anything. Just watched her fuss with her earrings a moment too long in the mirror, like she was waiting for me to ask. I didn't. She left without kissing me. At 10:37 p.m., her iPad, forgotten on the couch, buzzed. I wasn't checking. I was just sitting near it, the way you sit near a fire that might be dying. It lit up once, had a great time. Can't stop thinking about that moment. No name. No photo. Just that. I picked it up. Locked. She'd changed the passcode. My thumb hovered. I didn't try. I just stared at the reflection in the black screen. Me, a warped shape in the glass, waiting for a truth that refused to speak plainly. She came home at 11:12. Said dinner ran long. Hugged me like she hadn't drifted 6 months away in one evening. I hugged her back and breathed in that same faint trace of jasmine and smoke. She asked what I'd done that night. I said I watched a movie. I didn't mention which one. It didn't matter. Nothing would have broken through her smile anyway. Not until I decided it was time. It was the weekend she went on her retreat. A 3-day mental cleanse, she called it. Phones off, Wi-Fi off, completely unplugged. She said it like a challenge, daring me to ask questions. She packed a small bag, just enough for 2 nights, and took the old Canon camera we hadn't used in years, said she wanted to capture nature, without filters. I watched her leave from the upstairs window. Her taillights blinked 3 times before disappearing around the bend. I waited an hour, maybe 2, then went into the guest room closet, the one she hadn't used in months, and pulled down the gray shoebox marked Christmas lights. I'd stashed the backup drive there weeks ago, after she started locking her phone, her laptop, even the shared tablet. She'd forgotten we set the router to back up all smart devices onto the home server during our renovation, just in case we lost data. She probably never cared about the admin portal, never bothered with network logs. But I had, and the footage was there. Her phone, syncing silently in the background, had dumped every photo, every saved snap, every deleted video. Most were mundane screenshots, Pinterest boards, selfies with fake smiles. Then I found the folder. buried under an album labeled Invoices. Inside, 14 videos. No timestamps. No titles. Just clips. The first one opened to the view of a half-empty hotel room. No, not a hotel. A house. I recognized the couch. Not ours. Hers. The one she'd claimed she was selling, stashed in the basement for a donation. She hadn't sold it. She'd relocated it. The camera wobbled, then focused on her, laughing, straddling someone whose face never quite appeared, but whose hands I recognized by the rings. I froze the frame. Rewound. There it was, the gold wedding band I saw every Christmas on her boss's hand. He wasn't just visiting her retreat cottage. He lived there. The next clip confirmed it, her brushing her teeth in his bathroom, humming, wrapped in a robe I'd bought her. The house was decorated like a second life. Candles she said she didn't like. Art she never bought with me. I sat through all 14 videos. Watched her act out love scenes with a man she said gave her anxiety. I counted how many times she lied to me in the background of those clips, once wearing my hoodie, another time answering my call on speaker, saying she missed me while running fingers through his hair. I didn't feel rage. I didn't throw anything. My hands didn't even shake. I just sat still, so still, like my bones were recalibrating. There was no doubt left, no theory to spin, no question to ask. She had built a parallel world, and I had been carefully, surgically excluded. But she left the lights on. She'd filmed it all. Saved it. Maybe for the thrill. Maybe as insurance. Maybe because she never thought I'd be smart enough to look where she wasn't hiding it. That was her mistake. She thought my silence meant ignorance. That my stillness meant fear. She'd mistaken patience for blindness. But she'd shown me everything I needed. And in that moment, I stopped being the man she lied to. I became the man she never imagined, one who would wait, who would watch, who would take every detail and sculpt it into precision. I backed up the files. Hid them deep. Deleted the local copies without a trace. Reorganized the box. Replaced the lid. And then I cleaned the kitchen, vacuumed the living room, watered her plants. When she came back Sunday night, glowing with that rehearsed piece, she kissed me and said, "You look relaxed." I smiled. Asked if the retreat helped. She said it had. Said she'd learned things. Said she'd grown. I nodded. Told her I was proud of her. Told her we should take more space soon. Maybe a trip. Just us. Her eyes sparkled at the idea. She had no idea that she'd already taken her last trip. That I had everything I needed. That I had already started. There was no confrontation coming. No screaming match. No demand for the truth. Because I didn't need the truth anymore. I had the footage. I had the timeline. I had the man. Now I needed one more thing: an audience. It was meant to be a dinner. Just dinner. I told her I'd booked a reservation at that rooftop place she always mentioned, but never went to, the one with the fairy lights, the white linen, the live jazz. She dressed up. Lipstick. Heels. The necklace I gave her when she got the promotion. She smiled in the mirror and asked, "Do I look okay?" I told her she looked exactly like the woman I remembered. That was enough. We got there early. I asked for a table by the railing, the city glowing behind her like a stage set. She took out her phone to take pictures. I told her to wait. I had a surprise. Her eyes lit up, almost childlike. She still thought this was about us. I reached into my coat and slid the envelope across the table. Cream stock, no markings. She tilted her head, smiled. "You're always so mysterious." She opened it. No reaction at first. Just blinking. The first photo was of her in the bathrobe. His robe. The one with the hotel logo stitched in gold thread. The second photo, her laughing, hand on his chest. The third, her on the phone, my call showing on the screen. The envelope went still. Her hand hovered, then slowly retracted, as if afraid the paper might burn. "Where did you get these?" she asked, eyes narrowing. Not shocked. Just calculating. "Does it matter?" I said. I wanted to see what honesty looked like when it wasn't rehearsed. She forced a laugh, short, dry. "This is insane. This is taken out of context." I leaned in. "Context? You're sitting on his lap, wearing his ring on a chain, smiling like someone who's never heard of me." She rolled her eyes. "It's complicated, okay? You don't understand." "You're right," I cut in. "I don't understand how someone goes from daily gratitude journals and therapy sessions to building a second life with her boss. Explain it to me. Use all your new self-help words. Boundaries. Growth. Manifestation." Her mouth opened, then closed. She looked down, touched the napkin. "You were distant. You were always working, always distracted. I needed, say his name. I interrupted. Go ahead. You needed him? Is that what you were about to say? Her jaw tensed. This isn't fair. You don't know what it's been like, being invisible in your own house. Invisible, I repeated. I watched every clip, every photo, every saved voicemail. You didn't look invisible. You looked radiant, joyful. You looked free. She looked away. The waiter came. She waved him off with a smile that cracked around the edges. We're fine, thank you. The waiter left. This is private, she hissed. This shouldn't be happening here. Oh, I agree. But you made your second life private, didn't you? Private until it became real. So real you started confusing which version of yourself was the lie. She folded her arms, voice low. You think you're perfect? You think this is just my fault? No, I said. I think I should have noticed sooner that you'd already left. You just forgot to take your body with you. She flinched. The mask began to slip. I tried, she whispered. I tried to love you through the silence, the distance, the routines. But I needed more. So you found it in a married man. Impressive choice. Risky, too. How do you think his wife's going to react when she sees these? Her head snapped up. You wouldn't. I didn't say I would. I said how would she react? Just a question. One you should start thinking about. She pushed back from the table slightly. What do you want from me? An apology? A scene? What? I stared at her. Really stared. She was unraveling, lashes fluttering, lip trembling, fingers fiddling with her bracelet like a nervous tick. And yet she still thought she could steer this. I want you to sit in this moment, I said. Just sit. Don't justify. Don't deflect. Don't cry. Just feel it. Feel the weight of being known. All of it. Not the curated version you sell in therapy. The real you. The one who plans retreats and leaves lingerie in another man's dresser. The one who learned to lie so beautifully she forgot it wasn't love. She broke. Not loudly. Just a gasp. One of those tiny, involuntary stutters of breath that betray everything. You don't have to ruin me, she said, voice cracking. I already did, I replied. You just didn't notice until I made you watch. Her hand reached across the table. I didn't move. I let her sit there, arm extended, lips trembling, hope dying in her throat. I didn't flinch. I didn't speak. I just watched her. And she understood. That was the last gift I gave her. She chased me down the restaurant steps, heels clattering against stone like panicked punctuation marks, her voice already shaking with the script change. Wait, just wait, she said, breath catching, one hand still clutching the envelope like it might dissolve if she let go. Her face, once sculpted in elegance and control, was blotched now, lipstick smudged, eyes glistening, composure fracturing in layers. This is also extreme, she said, trying to reassemble the smile, the voice, the version of herself she thought could still hold power. You're overreacting. You planned this whole ambush just to humiliate me? After everything? I didn't stop walking. She grabbed my arm, her nails biting into the fabric. I made a mistake. A mistake. You think I haven't forgiven you for yours? I turned then, calmly. List them, I said. She froze. What? My mistakes. Go ahead. List them. Since we're playing the scoreboard game. Her mouth opened, then shut. Her eyes flicked sideways, looking for a witness, an ally. No one moved. A couple to our left pretended to study the dessert menu. The waiter from earlier stood behind the podium, stiff, trying to appear invisible. Exactly, I said. You don't have anything. Because your game was never fairness. It was always permission. You convinced yourself I'd earned this. That if you stretched the story far enough, you could be the victim too. She stepped closer. You weren't here, she hissed. You were always working, always in your head, never with me. I was alone in this house with a man who didn't even notice I was disappearing. What did you expect? I let her speak. I let her weaponize her loneliness. I watched her use it like a lifeline, and when she was done, I nodded. You're right, I said. I wasn't with you. Because I didn't know I had to compete. I thought I was building something with someone who'd speak before straying. Not script it, film it, and save it for later. Her face twisted. I was hurting. And he saw me. No, I said. He saw a woman who wanted to be seen. There's a difference. She tried again, voice softer now. You don't have to end it like this. We can fix it. We can figure it out. Please, I know I broke something, but I can. You didn't break something, I interrupted. You broke everything. You didn't trip and fall into this. You made choices. You picked days. You picked places. You picked him. Over and over. And now you want me to pretend it's just emotional bruising? That it's still worth saving? Her eyes welled up again, but I saw the flicker of calculation behind them. The shift. She changed tactics. Fine. You want the truth? She snapped. He was better. He listened. He touched me like he meant it. He made me feel alive. You made me feel like a burden. I didn't flinch. I let her stab that sentence into the open air, watched it die without landing. Then go back to him, I said. Live in that perfect world. The one where no one asks questions and everything feels like it's about you. But don't pretend it was love. You weren't looking for love. You were looking for reflection. Someone to mirror your delusion. Someone who wouldn't make you face what you've become. She laughed bitterly. You think you'll find someone better than me? Someone who'll put up with your moods? Your quiet judgment? Your silence? I already have, I said. Me. I have me now. And he's worth more than the hollow echo you turned into. Her mouth fell open, stunned that I didn't crawl back, didn't plead, didn't break. You don't mean that. You can't mean that. You'll regret this. You'll wake up alone and remember everything we had. No, I said quietly. I'll wake up grateful. Grateful that I don't have to lie to myself anymore just to keep someone who already left. Her hands dropped. She looked smaller now. Not in stature, but in presence. Like something inside her had finally collapsed, and all that was left was a shell wrapped in desperation. I loved you, she whispered. Maybe not perfectly, but I did. Then you should have told your body, I said. Because it spent a long time loving someone else. She tried one more time to reach for me, eyes wide, voice trembling. Please, I stepped back. Just once. Not fast. Not cruel. Just final. She stood frozen, lips parted, shoulders shaking. Everyone was watching now. Some with pity. Some with disgust. No one with rescue. And in that silence, in that raw public stillness, she understood something she'd never dared to before. She wasn't in control anymore. She wasn't the mystery, or the exception, or the martyr. She was just seen. I gave her one last look. No hatred. No revenge. Just the quiet clarity of a man who no longer belonged to the lie. Then I turned and left her standing in the ruins she built. She showed up at my door 6 months later, thinner, paler, carrying herself like a guest in her own skin. No makeup. No jewelry. The necklace was gone. The glow was gone. Even the voice, once smooth, calculated, precise, had a tremble in it now, like every word might be the last she's allowed. I just want to talk, she said, eyes red, lashes clumped together like a girl caught in the rain. I didn't open the door. Just watched her through the glass like she was a weathered photograph, familiar, distant, and meaningless. She came back 3 times after that. Once with a letter. Once with a framed picture of us from 5 years ago, back when we thought love was still a verb we shared. And once, just with tears, no words. I didn't let her in. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. Because there was nothing left to explain. I'd seen the unraveling from a distance. Her lover had dumped her within weeks. His wife found out, cut him off financially, moved out, took the kids. He kept his job, but lost his house. And he didn't take her with him. She tried spinning it, tried pretending she left on her own terms, but the industry was small and the whispers were loud. HR reviewed the security footage, found discrepancies. Her contract wasn't renewed. Reputation matters, they told her. Her therapist dropped her. 2 of her closest friends, once her cheering squad, cut ties cold. One blocked her number. The other posted a vague, brutal story about women who destroy to feel alive. Her parents didn't return her birthday call. Her sister told me, quietly, that she'd started drinking in the mornings. Said she spent hours rereading old messages, replying to no one. She DM'd me once, long message. Said she was sorry. Said she didn't know why she did it. Said I had always been too good for her, and that she'd mistaken stability for boredom. She ended it with, I still love you. We were soulmates. Please, just talk to me. I read it, then archived it. Not out of spite. Just indifference. She wasn't the woman who hurt me anymore. She wasn't anything. Just a ghost, wearing the face of someone I once trusted. The weight of her betrayal no longer pressed on me, not because I forgave her, but because she no longer mattered enough to be hated. She was just a cautionary echo, a closed chapter, a warning label I'd memorized and filed away. Sometimes I passed the street where her office used to be. The sign's gone. A new place opened. I hear she applied somewhere else, lower title, lower pay. Nobody's calling her boss babe anymore. Her power came from perception. Without it, she had nothing. I never needed revenge after that. I already won. Not by hurting her, but by refusing to carry her anymore. I built a new life, quieter, stronger. I learned to sleep without second-guessing my worth. I started talking again, really talking, with people who didn't wear masks. I remembered what real love felt like, calm, honest, alive. She still sends messages every few months. New number each time. One just said, please. Another said, I saw our song playing in a cafe and started crying. The last one had no words. Just a photo of us at a beach, her hand on my chest. I deleted it. And as I did, I realized something. She was right about one thing. We were soulmates. But only for the version of me who needed to be lied to in order to feel whole. And that man is dead now. Thanks for listening. Let me know where you're watching from and what you would have done if it were your wife.